You are now listening to About That Business, hosted by Rom Wills. Rom Wills is an entrepreneur and personal coach who has helped people reach their fullest potential personally and professionally. Take it away, Rom.
Thank you, Marshall. Succeeding in competitive fields. Yeah, y'all. You know what? When you think about any field, anything you get into, you got competition. In most of them, unless they just come up with something new. And then maybe you have a little while, you get into the ground floor of it, and then you can, establish something, but you'll still get some competition at some point. But you got to think about every field is competitive, right? Every field, right? Everything is competitive, and some are just ultra competitive. So the question becomes, how do you succeed in it? Well, you know what? You have to really study your craft. You know, I like using basketball examples. If you look at the players who really succeed in it, they go the extra mile. They study it, right? They study what they're doing. They're always like trying to improve something, right? And I'll use a personal example myself. Y'all don't know how much virtually every podcast, every video I do, I critique it. Every single one, I critique it. Even to the point of sometimes even like how I'm pronouncing a certain word or something. And I'm just like, nah, okay, I got to be mindful. Okay, I got to, not as slangy there, maybe a little bit more slangy. Okay, there might be a little pause there. So I'm looking at that because YouTube is competitive. YouTube is competitive. I got a million videos to compete with. Probably literally a million. It wouldn't be an exaggeration. I don't know what the numbers are, but there might be a million people on there. Now, I'm arguably successful on YouTube. So what am I doing? I'm constantly. I probably upgraded mics about 3 or 4 times because sometimes people would tell me, Rom, I can't really hear you that well. Put up the money, got this Yeti. I was looking at camcorders the other day and mics. So I'm about to, the videos about to, especially the live ones, are going to get crisper. But that's just part of the thing. No matter what the field is, it could be YouTube, it could be cutting grass. They got a lot of people cutting grass, in the grass cutting business, right? So the person who's going to be succeeding in that field, they're going to look at every little thing. They'll get the latest edgers and how to cut it, whatever. Looking at blades, they probably sharpen the blades. The barbershops. I remember I was at getting a haircut, right? Now I had this, it's a younger barber. He's up and coming, but he kept having some, his blades weren't cutting as much, and he really knew, he knew something was up, wasn't really sure until an older barber showed him. And, that's cool and everything, but that's an edge, because say that older barber wasn't there and, he's fumbling with the hair or something. All of a sudden, I'm just like, you know what? I got about 4 pairs of clippers myself, which I do. I can fade myself up. Only thing is, it's tough fading yourself and all of that. All of that. But even then, if I really wanted to, I would have to study it. It's that whole thing. To succeed, you need to know all little stuff. I've worked as a merchandiser before. Y'all know Rom's had 1,000 jobs. Basically merchandising, anybody familiar with it, is basically you putting out clothes in such a way so that they sell. And it's like something as little as a fold can make a difference. But I learned all of that, and it was like, oh, okay, if I fold it this way, it looks nice. You do that. It's all about the fashion and everything. In fact, it's ironic when I go into other stores, I'll look at how something is merchandised, right? But it's a little thing. It's a big difference. Like, say I'm in, I want to get back into merchandising, right? Which is actually fun. I'm going to be honest with you, merchandising is fun. And I'll tell you why in a second, it's fun for me. Merchandise, but, if I wanted to get back into it, like just say, want to work for a company, like you have some merchandisers who they don't really work at the store per se, but they just go around and all they do is straighten stuff, right? Straighten stuff, make it look real nice, make it look presentable, right? You know, that fold, it can be a big difference between folding a shirt in such a way that it's just a regular fold, just stacked, it's all neat and stuff, and that makes a big difference. But then folding in such a way that what they call a fun fold, right? So sometimes you go for that fun fold because it catches your eye. Because that's the biggest thing in merchandising, right? So you start thinking, what catches your eye? What's the colors? What's the color scheme? Something like that. And trust me, it's very important, like how you line it up. You know, it should, anybody who listens who's done any merchandising, you know, in general, light to dark. In general, you know, and then putting together outfits and everything. Very, very important. Yeah, you know, Rom's been very, you know what, as an aside, I never worry about a job because I can fold stuff. And what I was saying earlier, I get into that because, you know, my step-grandfather used to own a cleaners, and I mentioned before, I'm an ironing person. And even that, I could probably, I could iron a shirt. I'd do a shirt better than a cleaners. You know, I let a cleaners do it just because of the time and everything, but I would be looking at like the ironing board, the iron, you know, keeping that clean, making sure the plate stays clean. And so to succeed in any field, even competitive or not, it's always that little bit, it's that little bit extra. It's really studying the craft, you know, looking at it. I'll use merchandising again, really knowing the quality of the shirts. You know, knowing how to put it, like when I was doing the merchandising work, there was a district merchandiser. You know, she was in charge of a few stores and stuff, and you know, her area was in home, like sheets and stuff. She could tell you thread counts, why this was better, why this wasn't as good, but she was good at it because that's the key. Learn every little nuance of it. Learn every single nuance. It makes a big difference. Like I'll use YouTube for example. It made a big difference because people even told me just by me getting another mic, you know. And even then, it's like, all right, you use the cameras. Like I have a camera that can, like a regular camera, but it doesn't have anything on there for a boom mic. So I was like, okay, next camera I gotta get a boom mic on it. But then I'm still asking questions. Somebody said, you know, you can get a regular camera or, you know, which is really take pictures, but really get a camcorder. Because the camcorder is specifically to take videos. I was like, oh, wow. And it's interesting. You know, all of a sudden I'm becoming better and better knowing cameras because now I can look at a camera. It's like, can this handle a boom mic? So it's like that's how you do it. That's how you get competitive. You sit back and you understand. I don't care what it is. I've talked before about modeling, and I was talking with a good dear friend of mine. She checks out a lot of my videos. We were talking about modeling, and I remember when I was talking about it. I was watching how I can watch some models, and I watch how they walk. That's a very important piece. Facial expressions, how you walk. The attitude is a little bit of drama because if you watch models walk, you know that part where, you know, they pass each other, they might give each other that look, little bit of attitude and stuff. That's part of the game right there. You know, it's part of the style. You selling it, but those little things make a big difference. That's why you get some models like supermodels and stuff. The thing with them supermodels, if you really look at them, they ain't average looking. They probably wouldn't stimulate your loins whether they male or female. But what they can do is sell the product they trying to sell, because that's the whole point of models anyway. You know, the whole point is not to look pretty themselves. The whole point is whether they can sell something. And you know, sales is another thing. It's like, okay, how can you connect with people? It's studying your craft, mastering your craft. That's the key. That's how you succeed in any field. You can apply it. It's like you study that joint. You just don't show up to work. All right? Like I worked in sales. Yeah, 1,001 jobs. You know, I got to the point I could tell like within a few minutes whether this person's actually going to buy something. That's because I studied it, you know. And I also, one of the things I learned, and this was during the sales training, was really how to listen. How to listen, sit back. Like one of the greatest salesmen I've seen, this dude was real quiet. He'd just sit back, and he was in gym sales. He would close sales like crazy, saying very little. He would just sit back, smile a little bit, let them talk, give them the prices, you know, talk where he needed to. But he was at the best because he studied every aspect of it. He learned what to do. So anyway, right, that's how you do it. No matter what field, study every nuance of it and constantly look to improve. So anyway, right, that's it for today. Let's go make that money.